Hey all, Flight Sim Dev here. I'm just going to go, in this video we're just going to talk about how we're going to remove items in scenery. Primarily, cars in car parks, because when you're making your own models, you might make your own cars, trucks, motorbikes, whatever, right? And you want to place your own models, but you don't really want to do it over the top of the cars that are already here. Now, this particular one, I've already done some work. I've removed all of this particular area that I'm looking at here is Gladstone. It's a fairly large area. The airport's down here. The area, as you can see, is in the background. You've got your water, your various blends and water layers. We won't go into the blends and water layers. This is primarily removing items that you don't want. Now, if you plan on using textures over the runway to make the runway look more realistic rather than using the AFCAD, then you might want to get rid of all these runway markings. This is, as you can see, reasonably good quality. I can go right in, I can actually see the 28 there for runway 28, and also your numbering at the other end. 28, what's that? My mind's gone blank. But that's right, we'll go on to what the video is more about. Now, what I want to do is I want to remove all these car parks, all these cars in the car parks. Here you can see my cloning tool, which is what I'll be using. Now, this is Photoshop. So for this tutorial, it'll be basically Photoshop. Now, you grab your cloning tool. That's the best one to use. What I use is I set it up so it's not feathering the edges. So you could use either one of these pencils here, but I prefer that one. And then you want to work out, so you want to keep the island, but you don't want to keep the car, right? So the first thing you would do is get rid of the car. I use a polygon tool here, and what I do is I just put it on the border of that island, just like that. So you've got a box. I don't know how well that comes up in YouTube, in the video. And you grab this section here. Now, you wouldn't want to grab a circle that big. You want something a bit smaller. That's nice. And then you just grab the cross section. So now that you've got this cross section, so you can use this anywhere. You put it here, and you try to match the pixels as best as you can. And that, if you zoom out, you'll probably get a better reference to it. And you can see that's where it's nice there. So I would use it at that point and just get rid of that car. Now, once you've got rid of this car, you can now get rid of the other cars. So you go back to your cloning tool, actually undo the little box, go back to your cloning tool, and then pick off that one there. Now you've got part of the island, and you go to the second bank of traffic parking spots, and you get rid of the second one. And because these two are lining up, it should line up with that. Now you can see it's a little bit out, but that's all right. We can just move the island a little bit so it lines up with the first one, and we do that. So because this one is lining up with this one, you can see that's pretty close now. You can go down. Now on the first one there's no cars, so you're basically going to clone that down to here and align the first one up with the second one. Now you've got a car here, which will be just there if we choose to put it in, but you want to match this so it's 100%. So you go up to this one here, and then you come down to where it has to line up, which is there, and you line all the lines up just like that. Right, now that becomes these arrows, so you can put the arrows back in again if you want, which are these arrows here, or you can take these arrows out just by Control Alt and the V key in Photoshop, and you get rid of the arrows. Now we've got a complete island here. We can go back to this one and then just drag that down, and now we can get rid of that car. So now you've got two car parks that are completely blank, and you've got two islands that are completely matched. So now it's just a matter of just doing this on all of them. You can see I've already done it to the ones above it, and then you go down to this one and match it as best you can to here, which is looking like that, and then these are now going to all vanish. And you've got to do all of them because you've got to match all the lines and so forth. Any blemishes that you get, you can see the lines don't quite line up, any blemishes that you get, like this little black one here, you just grab a empty spot and just do that, grab another empty spot and do that. and it gets rid of that. So you can see now that you've got 3 car parks that are empty. Now this one's a little bit more awkward because you don't have much to work with. So what you could do is change it around a little bit. So I'm going to use the same here, pick off the middle one here and go to this one here. And that looks about right there. And then you move it up one, move it up another one, and then go that way. So you've got the end ones here. Okay, that looks like it's almost in right. And then I think we can almost get away with this. And there you go. So you can see you're retaining the island here, the little office. It's probably a pay station or wherever. But you can see that looks a bit odd here. So the best thing, I mean, you can use the cloning tool for that as well. What you do is you select your options for your clone stamp tool, and you select that it reverses left and right. So anything you do here will be reversed on the other side. So now you can put that here, and oops, doesn't quite work because it's on an angle, you see. So you turn that back off again, and you can just basically match it as best as you can, like that. And there you go. That's basically how that's done. Any logos here that you might want to get rid of here. Don't want to get that. Just get rid of this logo here. And that's how you remove cars. You can do the same here because that shape is the same as this shape. I would start on the corner up here and take the corner here until it matches. You can see it's a little bit out, but I'm not going to worry about that so much. It's only a car park, and when you're building airports, you're not actually going to be landing inside a car park. You're going to be landing at the airport. So you can see that's gone. You've got shadows here for your light poles, which still line up, but you've got a duplicate shadow. So you want to get rid of that duplicate shadow, like that, because you'll be making your own models for these light poles. So you can get rid of these light poles, and you can get rid of the shadows, because it depends if you've got shadows turned on inside the sim. If you don't, and most people don't, I don't generally, just to keep frames to a nice minimum, and then you just go across like that, and there you've got your cars. You get rid of the cars. You can see there's a nice line there, but there's no line there, so you would pick off probably that line there and go to here and then go across, right? And then keep doing this until these cars, now you can see the line is continuing on, but the car park's not exactly straight. So you keep going with this, and you know, it doesn't always line up as you would expect it, but that's right, it's only a car park and you're only getting rid of the cars. You're not actually getting rid of anything else, nothing important. So the airport's still going to be exactly the same, but you're just getting rid of these cars. And you can see it all lines up there. And then you get rid, if you want to, you get rid of the shadow as well, because there's no shadow where we started. And there you go, it's nice and straight. But if you want to be more, I don't know how pedantic you want to get, but you might want to get all these car parks so they're straight at least. Just like that. And there you go, your cars are gone, alright? So now you've got an almost empty car park. These ones here are a little bit more awkward because they're on an edge, and if you don't have an edge, luckily we've got an edge up here. We'll use it from the first one, and you can see that's not quite going to line up because it's got a grass strip here. So what we'll do is we just do the cars for now. Just get this onto the cars, get rid of all of this, and you can see that's the grassy bit. And then you want to bring the concrete back. Alright, so sometimes copy and paste is just as good. So you do this across here like that, and you move it to this one. So that's the area you want. You just go copy and paste, and you flip that around. And then that goes back into there. And then you might move it around a little bit, just to sort of line it up a bit. And there you go, and that's lined up. Now it's got a grass section here that we stuffed up a bit, but you wouldn't really, unless you saw it, you wouldn't really notice it. So you just go like this, put a little box around it so you can constrain to within that box, and then you just get rid of that line like that. So you wouldn't know it unless you lived here and you knew exactly where everything was. You could just now do that, and there you go. Those cars are gone, and you can leave 1 or 2 cars in there, and that's how you basically get rid of things. If you want to get rid of housing block, I mean, every house down here is going to be reasonably the same. It looks nice and green there down in Gladstone land. So there's the airport. So now we've got get rid of the cars. You might want to, if you're going to use an AFCAD to actually draw the lines, you might want to get rid of all these lines, and it's just a matter of cloning them away as well. I'm going to leave them in because I will probably not use the AFCAD, but then you can see we've got a series of lines here. So you grab that line it up with this one, and just do that, and then it slowly vanishes, and you just keep doing that until the whole lot disappears, just like that. And you can do it fast, you can do it slow. It's completely up to yourself how you do it. You can put lines in, you can take lines down, but for this I'm not going to bother with the lines because they take quite a long time, and that's it. That's how you get rid of items using the cloning tool. In the next video I'll probably show you how you can actually, if you want to put, say you've got a I don't know if you would do it or not, but say there wasn't a building here, it was just a big patch of grass, you could actually clone this building, like I could do it here, right? You could clone this building in here, so you've got the same building in here, because the house might have changed and you might have said, oh, I like that other person's house, I'll build one the same. And there you go, you can put in the same house, and there's no difference to it. You might want to make a little bit of variations to your house over their house, you know, so it doesn't look like an exact clone, and get rid of things that you don't want, like things in the front yard you'll get rid of like this, and you might get your path and extend the path up the side of the house a little bit, just like that, and just do that, and then you just get your cloning tool here and you just sort of blend this in a bit, you know, and don't make it repeat so many times. And get a little tree in there, a bit of a garden bed, like that, and there you go, you've got your path as extended, and you can see it is the same house, but now your path is longer, and it looks like a different house, and one of, well, many houses, you're not going to notice that little change. And that's basically it. So I'll leave the video at that, but that's basically how you get rid of stuff in the airports. This will be a new project. Actually, while I'm here, what I can do is, that's where a windsock is, so I'm just going to get rid of the mark where the windsock is. Just like that. Using that surface, I'll fix up this surface as well, and you just go around like that, and you got the same 2 surfaces, and that's it. So I'll leave it. Hopefully that'll help you out a little bit. Hopefully it wasn't too quick. You can always slow the video, maybe not slow the video down, but you can always go back and pause the video and go over it several times. Anyway, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. I'll put out videos, you know, once every few weeks or so, and we'll leave it at that. Anyway, Flight Sim Dev signing off. Catch you all.